go with Select and Hwangsin. It is going to be best of 3 here on out, and this is going to be for top speed.
It is. Okay. All right. So Select versus Hwangsin here, PvT on Terminus. Very macro-oriented map, man. So could end up with a awesome macro-oriented PvT here with a quick 3 base.
Well, knowing Hwangsin.
Yeah, you're right. No, I mean, yeah, I've seen him play macro games. He all-ins a lot, but I've seen him play macro games.
Yeah.
However, these spawns, I think you're right. These spawns, I don't think Hwangsin would go for a macro game given these spawns. It's just, you're close by. What are you going to want to do? You're not going to want to go into a late game versus Select, who's going to be dropping your third, dropping your natural, dropping your main all day long. He's probably going to want to just end it early on, and prevent Select from getting to that late game stage.
Yep. So we'll see what Hwangsin actually does. I think he's probably the more important person to keep an eye on, because Select, we know, for the most part, does kind of like standard builds. He does not too standard. I mean, he does change it up at that mid-game stage, I think. We saw Ghost for the last 2 games. But, you know, we've seen Medivacs come out from him as well. So still, those are considered, I guess, standard openings. They are more macro-oriented, whereas Hwangsin, he's a probe cutter, man.
Yeah.
And nobody likes cutters.
I don't know, man. I like when I'm cutting up some meat and I'm like, you know, cooking some food, making some stir fry. I like cut up your vegetables.
I hate Indian cutters.
Indian cutters? Is that what you just said?
Indian cutters.
What is that?
You know what an Indian cut is?
No.
It's when, okay, let's say I'm in line and you want to Indian cut me. It's you cut me and then I cut you. So it's basically a back cut.
What? How is it? What does that have to do with India?
I don't know. That's what we always used to say.
Oh God, that we might have some. That sounds racist, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, Andre.
That's what I learned today.
Oh, you gotta watch your mouth, man. Oh man, but you know, getting into StarCraft, we of course have some racism in StarCraft too, man. We got the Protoss and the Terran always calling the imbalances. I was of course guilty of that as well quite a bit when I would play.
No.
I know, right? No, I was completely impartial.
Stop it, dude. I don't even believe that.
I know, right?
Gasless expansion, though, coming out from Select,
and
most
it's scouted.
likely.
It's scouted this time. That's what's important. Hwangsin got the scout in where TT1 couldn't get it last game. So Hwangsin's going to know what he's up against. And when you know you're playing against a gasless expand, you can easily, you know, not necessarily counter it, but you can at least know what to do. You can just take your own expansion. No, you don't have to deal with whoa. Oh, is he going to fake? Okay, never mind. All right. Huh. Second barracks before his command center. That is really strange.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know, I've seen, this isn't the build that I've seen recently, but somewhat similar, I guess. I have seen this build that the Koreans have been doing, where they do a gasless expand, but they do it with 3 barracks before they drop down their command center.
Really?
Yeah, and then they just make like tons and tons of Marines, and it actually hard counters 1-gate expand, while still getting your expansion up relatively early. It's the command center is actually only delayed by about a minute, despite going for 3 racks instead of 1 rack. So you still do it with no gas. But you actually hard counter 1-gate expand, so it's like awesome. But that's not the build we're seeing. It's just a little bit different. He got his second barracks just a little bit earlier, so maybe Select is going to go for some earlier aggression, knowing the fact that Hwangsin scouted out. This would not work if Hwangsin hadn't scouted the gasless expand, but it's critical that since he saw the lack of gas, that means that Select knows Hwangsin is probably going to play very greedy. He's probably going to go for an early expansion of his own and not make a whole bunch of units. And thus, maybe with these earlier barracks, Select can put on a little bit of pressure with these Marines and do some damage.
We do see the Tech Lab going down for him, double refinery, of course, so he's going towards that stim timing. Normally, could be combat shields, of course. For Hwangsin, he is getting that robotics facility out, so it is a 1-gate robotics facility after a fast nexus.
I'm surprised by that, man.
That is very greedy. It actually dies to a lot of different builds based on fast expansions. Yeah. 4 racks, 5 racks. Immediately dies too. And
it's just a little bit strange. Generally, you see players rush out that robo when they don't have the scouting information. When they think their opponent might be going for cloak banter, might be going for 1-1-1, then they'll rush out the robo. Otherwise, we usually see players go up to 3-gate, then maybe get the robo. So yeah, it is a little bit surprising here from Hwangsin. Maybe he just wants to rush Colossi. He knows his opponent is going for gas expand, probably gonna have a really high amount of Marines, and yeah, he's already up to quad gas, so we might indeed be just seeing a really fast 2-base rush up to Colossus from Hwangsin, and that's actually a pretty good move to do against a player like Select, because as we've talked about before, Select loves his Medivacs, and he's probably going to try to rush out Medivacs, so he won't have those Vikings out as a result. And of course, once he sees the Colossus, that will force him to not make those Medivacs and make the Vikings instead.
You know, I do this build a lot, and I will admit it's very abusive. Hwangsin is actually being a lot more abusive than me, going up to 4 gas. A lot of times when you see 4 gas, you don't have a lot of probes going towards those minerals, so you're kind of, you know, light in the mineral count.
Well, actually, look at the income, man. That's pretty crazy. 37 probes for 26 SCVs, and he actually has more mineral income than Select had. Oh, Select did just drop some mules, so now he's pretty much even. But that's actually pretty impressive that he has 4 gas and is still even on the mineral count against the Terran player.
Ooh, and Select might be coming forard here.
Oh, this is going to be scary, man.
Really nice timing,
this is why it's greedy to rush up the Colossus. Look at that first Colossus on the way. He doesn't even warp in any units. Even though he has that warp gate there, just now warping into Stalker. Oh, nice force fields. Wow. So well done with the probes there as well.
And he gets all the Marines, which are basically the biggest DPSing units of this whole army. Now it looks like he's just going to go try to bully his opponent, but Select, he has to back out. There is a Stalker coming out from behind, but he is very weak.
Yeah, he is going to lose that. Now, these Marauders are going to die, but Hwangsin took quite a bit of damage in the process.
Yeah.
He lost sentries. He lost probes. Look at our workers kill tab, man. 9 workers that Select killed there. So it's actually evened up quite a bit to 35 probes to 32 SCVs. And, you know, with 12 probes total on gas, whereas, of course, Select is only on 2 gas himself, taking a 3rd one right now. Select has now taken a huge mineral advantage in terms of income. Right now, it's 1,700 minerals a minute for Select and only 900 a minute for Hwangsin. So Hwangsin actually has fallen pretty far behind from that early aggression.
But what he has is that tech, man. That tech is so valuable. Of course, we see a factory just now coming up. The opportunity cost for that whole attack was actually getting a delayed factory. He actually put reactors and a tech lab onto his 2 other barracks, and it delays that extra 75 gas that you get. It delays that factory.
Oh my God. Select moving in for some aggression right now. Stim was just about to complete, though. Didn't quite have it as he went in for that. Maybe would have been able to stim forward and try to snipe one of those Colossus or something, but with 2 out now, it's simply too much splash damage. Whoa, he stims, picks off 1 Stalker, and then it's just going to try to run away. But he's lost a lot of his army, actually, to this Colossi, and he's frantically trying to respond. He's got his starport on the way with that reactor as well, but I don't know if he'll have those Vikings in time. This could be really scary because Hwangsin's moving forward right now. If he also sends a probe for forward pylon, which I'm surprised he hasn't done yet, if he also sends that out, oh, no, actually, sorry, there was a probe with that army, but nice pick off by Select. Good micro, man. Picks off the probe. Man. Now Hwangsin can't be that aggressive.
Yeah. That really is devastating. Now, I like this. Hwangsin has gone up to 4 gateways right now as his probes are starting to scale up in number. Additionally, he has 2 Colossus out on the field. I think a 3rd one is on the way. Yes, it is. And look at this. Select just does not have any response to this. His starport is now up. I do expect
no Vikings on the way, though, man. Where are the Vikings?
Oh, he's not supply cap.
No. What is he doing, man? He's got to make those Vikings. There we go. 2 Vikings on the way, and he's got +1 finishing, so we'll help him out. I don't know if it'll be enough, though, man. There are 4 sentries here for Hwangsin, and he has 3 Colossi. That is a scary number to deal with only making 2 Vikings at a time. I mean, even if he gets his first 2 Vikings out, he won't be able to engage into this. He'll need, at the very least, 4, and even that will not be that great for him. So Select is actually in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he is. I don't know what he's going to do at this point. I mean, he does have stim. He has combat shields. He can rush forward, but this ground army is actually really scary. Yeah. And there's the 2 force fields, actually. Oh my gosh, Select is in so much trouble. Yeah,
no more repair on that bunker. Now he's trying to repair the bunker on the right, sending a couple units, even mules going in there. But he's got to be really, really careful. Oh, the last bunker does go down. Now 2 Vikings have popped out, so Select's going to go for the engagement. He has that +1, of course, doing so much damage. Oh my god, Hwangsin losing his entire ground force. No more cells or sentries to support these Colossi, and Colossi without any units to support them can easily be sniped down by Marauders and Marines. So they go down pretty darn quickly. The Vikings going to take out the 2nd Colossus, but 1 more has just arrived, and Select is down to a very small number of ground units.
Yeah, and there's a bad situation for Select. He's pushing in again. Is the 4th Colossus actually going to go down?
Wow, it is.
Yes, it does.
And Stalker reinforcements. That makes no sense, man. You got to make Zealots right now.
Oh my god.
He needed to be making those Zealots.
I mean, I think he was thinking he wants to take out the Vikings, but obviously there's a Marauder bearing down on him. He cannot do that at that point. And look at that, the Viking just lands. Select does lose a lot of income, though. Look at that, 26 harvesters to 45. So even though he held that off, I would say he is behind.
The only thing he has going for him right now is those upgrades. Look at that, 1-1 about to complete, whereas the Forge has just been started from Hwangsin. So 1-1 might give Select utility he needs to come back in this game, but it's going to be a very long, hard road, man, with such a small worker count. Now, of course, he is able to mule up. Look at that, 4 mules now mining at the natural. So actually his economy is wow, higher than Hwangsin's, even though he has half the harvesters. Of course, once those mules die off and he's only able to drop 2 at a time, he will fall a little bit behind here. But, you know, all that energy saved up will help him out now. And look at that, ghosts are going to be on the way as well. So we'll be able to, of course, EMP this army, do quite a bit of damage, and that will work out pretty well for him coming in the later game.
Yep. So Select right now is just going to kind of ease out. He wants to still play defensive. I expect him just to get a command center or something after this and just try to play a little bit more defensive. But no, he's actually going to push out. This is really peculiar to me. I mean, why would you push out? You know you're behind in your army because, let's be honest, your income has been just total trash for a good couple of minutes. You know, he has a lower supply count. I'm sure he knows this. It's really, really frustrating actually to see this.
Well, I think he's just, he wants to be a little bit active, wants to make sure that Hwangsin is not like taking any like ninja expansions or anything, wants to make sure that he's not taking full map control as well. I think, as you said, I mean, engaging would clearly be a big mistake. He really doesn't want to engage in this army. So I think he's poking around, he's doing a good job not engaging, but if he does go for an attack here, yeah, that'll be a big mistake, and he could be in a lot of trouble. Now there are a lot of zealots here from Hwangsin and some sentries for some more force fields.
But so now he doesn't have stalkers.
Yeah, he only has, what, 3 stalkers. All right, so, yeah, it can be pretty difficult to take out those Vikings, but of course there are only 4 Vikings. Oh, there we go. One more pops out. 5 Vikings total for Select.
Yep. It's not too big of an account yet, but I do feel like, you know, going in here might not be the best situation. The concave for Select is pretty strong here.
Yeah, it looks like he just checked for that 3rd base and sees that there's no 3rd. Might avoid going for the engagement, but, you know, the 4th Colossus is about to join in this army. Maybe we'll go for it after that 4th Colossus get here. That is a pretty scary number, of course.
That is an impending threat, man. That is really scary. And look at that, adding more to those stalker counts. So here we go. The Vikings are on the right-hand side, trying to pick off any Colossus possible. Force shields are going down. I don't know if they're the best force shields, though. They haven't really segmented many units off. Oh, Select is critically actually still pushing on. I think he needs to back up. There he goes.
Those were perfect force fields, man. That was amazing. Generally, yeah, you want to segment units when you have a very high zealot count because you want the zealots to still be attacking. But when you're mostly dealing with Colossus and Stalkers, you do want to keep the units far away from your army. You don't even want to split it in half because then they can still stim forward, snipe your Colossi. Oh, nice EMP on this army. I don't know if it's really enough, though. He does have those 1-1 upgrades against the 1-0 of Hwangsin right now. But of course, he doesn't have those Vikings left over. 2 Vikings do pop out, but it looks like the entire army goes down.
What the heck? And GG comes out from Hwangsin. The split from Select was perfect. His micro is always on top of it.
And his upgrades, man.
And his upgrades. 1-1 against 0-0, just like we saw his series against CT1.
I can't believe Hwangsin threw that game away.
I know, that's
can't believe it. That's
insane, right?
He had twice the harvest as his opponent, and he threw the game away.
540 to 1240, right there.
Yeah, you know, there were a couple of mistakes he made that game. In the first time we saw him engage, you know, I was talking about, we've been talking about Zealots versus Stalkers, and I do want to, you know, just talk very briefly about, you know, when you need which unit, essentially. In that type of a position, Colossi, remember, while they're very strong, they need support. If Colossi get, if you get in range of Colossi with Marauders and Marines, they will die very, very quickly. So you really need either those force fields to keep the Terran army out of range of your Colossi, or the Zealots, so that they'll be attacking into the Zealots, and the Zealots will keep the units from running past up to your Colossi. Instead, he just had almost pure Stalker Colossus with maybe like 1 or 2 sentries and like 2 or 3 Zealots, and just pure Stalker Colossus gets so owned by Marauders, man. So without that support to keep the units out of range of his Colossi, that's why he lost in that first engagement. That's why Select was able to stay alive, and from there his upgrade advantage pulled him ahead so that he was able to win the second engagement very, very closely with that great concave, those great splits, and yet again, that amazing upgrade advantage.
He went Stalkers when there were no Vikings and Zealots when there were.
When there were, yeah. Just so the opposite of what you really need to be doing in that situation.
Exactly. I mean, when you're rushing out Colossus like that, when you're doing 1 gate robo after a fast expansion, it's really silly to go mass Stalkers at that position.
Yeah.
Go Zealots. You know you're going to have a lot of timing on your opponent when they don't have Vikings out. You can just take it.
Yeah, I mean, the Zealots are more important. The Stalkers are more of like an afterthought. It's great to be able to pick off the Vikings, but the Zealots are what are actually the core of that army in terms of tanking for your Colossi to do the damage. Colossi are going to do the damage anyways. You can kill off the entire ground army before that small of a number of Vikings is going to kill your Colossi. That's why you need those Zealots in there, man. Because only really in the later stages of the game do you absolutely need the Stalkers to kill the Vikings, or if you know you just have Colossi left and you're dying to just Vikings. But that means we're going to have, of course, that 1-0 advantage again going to Select here.
So. Yep. So let's move on to game number 2 of this series.